Hello friends and welcome to the channel. So, Marvel Rivals released around 2 weeks ago now, and I've become obsessed to say the least, especially with the strategist role, thanks to randoms. It's become so great that I became Lord status in under a week with Cloak and Dagger, and have amassed 28.9 hours with them alone. And so, I've decided to offer some tips and tricks I've learned while playing with them. Cloak and Dagger are unique because you're controlling two different characters, which are swapped with either shift or scrolling your mouse wheel. So we'll focus on Dagger's kit first, being the primary role that you'll be playing. Dagger's kit is mainly focused on your healing aspect, with every ability capable of producing a massive amount of healing. Personally, I feel her kit is more effective in healing an entire team quickly than any other strategist, making them a great pick, especially for newer strategist players. Her primary fire, Light Force daggers, will both heal your teammates and deal a minor amount of damage to enemies or enemy items. The dagger also has a small amount of tracking, so your shots are much easier to hit with than, say, Mantis. You'll be using this more than anything else to keep your team's health topped up and deal damage to long-range characters when you have the opportunity. Next, our default E, Veil of Light Force, pushes forward a rectangular beam of healing energy that you can use for a quick burst of healing on a character that's low, or multiple characters that need a heal in a desperate situation. It is good to save this for when you have one person at critical or a few below or close to half health. Next, our default right click is Dagger Storm. Dagger Storm creates a dome where anyone standing inside will be healed slowly over time. I primarily save this ability for tanks when they're keeping the front line up, or for myself when I need to heal myself when I'm being backlined by an enemy hero, or the other healer might be down and not able to assist me. In cloak form, you're more focused on damage and abilities that will help your team. Your primary attack, Dark Force Cloak, works much like Scarlet Witch's primary attack, but with a shorter range. You still need to keep your aim sharp for this, and primarily it should be used in close range combat when you're either in danger or need to help deal damage to enemies that are applying pressure. Our default E in Cloak's form is Terror Cape, an ability that also fires a rectangular beam of shadow, blinding anyone that comes in contact with it. It doesn't have a particularly long range, so keep that in mind when utilizing this. I often apply this to backliners pushing me, or people using their ults that can be blinded, like Star-Lord. Keep that in mind, and that you cannot use that on every single enemy in their ults. For example, it doesn't work on Hela and characters doing special abilities like that. Our right click, Dark Force Dimension, is arguably one of the most valuable abilities that Cloak has. You shroud yourself and any nearby allies in shadow, meaning you are invisible for a short period of time and impervious to damage. You and allies are untargetable as long as they don't use attacks or abilities. The ultimate for Cloak and Dagger, Eternal Bond, allows you both to deal damage to enemy heroes that step in it, as well as heal any allies rapidly and completely if they step in it. It coats the area you float over in 3 waves, lasting around 15 seconds. It is great for coating a point or surrounding a payload and making the area a safer space for your teammates to contest. I've been told conflicting information about whether or not the ultimate stacks if you go over the same area more than once, and from my personal testing in the practice arena, I don't believe it does stack whatsoever, but I can confirm that placing your Dagger Storm on top of the ultimate will stack healing quite well and allow allies to tank a lot of damage, even some of the more frustrating ultimates. Now we can get into some more technical things. It goes without saying your first priority should be healing your team, so your main focus is your primary fire and using it on enemies when possible. Light Force daggers can also be great for adding damage to enemies like Iron Man and Star-Lord, while Cloak's Dark Force is great for enemies like Spider-Man or Iron Fist. When being backlined or wanting to assist in damage, it is best to shift and lead with the Terror Cape, as not only will it blind the enemy heroes, it will also debuff them, causing them to take more damage while they are blinded, and then follow up with your primary attack. It is important while in this form to keep an eye on your team's health, as it can be tempting to finish the enemy off yourself rather than aid an ally that might need you more. The biggest tip I have for you in general is to never underestimate Dark Force Dimension. Not only can you protect yourself, but you can prevent a lot of ultimates from affecting your team if used correctly, including that pesky Jeff Swallow, as long as your teammates remember not to use any attacks during this time. That is all the tips and tricks I have for you with Cloak and Dagger. I hope that these help you out in learning to become a better strategist, and don't feel too daunted. It does feel intimidating at first to learn, especially since you're controlling essentially 2 different characters with 2 totally different kits, but hopefully over time you can learn to love them as I have and appreciate the great amount of different things that they can bring to your team. And if you enjoyed this video and it helped you out at all, don't be afraid to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend. And I hope to see you on my Twitch channel, where I stream my gameplay almost daily around 11 a.m. Eastern. And thank you so much.